The sound of pages turning means it's time for another episode from the Meredith Library Podcast Studio, bringing you the library's latest news, information, and fun.
Good afternoon, Matthew.
Good afternoon, MaryBeth.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to episode number 43 of Check It Out here at the Meredith Library Podcast Studio.
Well, today we have a fun episode filled with frequently asked questions that we get here at the library, including ones specifically asked at the circulation desk.
They range from, what are your hours?
Yep, to, where's Chris? No, we're just kidding. But although we do get that question a lot. So that one always has a different answer, so we cannot put that as part of our frequently asked questions today.
Tech help is highly sought after.
So we do have a serious question about that, though.
So how do we make an appointment with Chris?
All right, let's start with that. Even though it's not the top of the list, who cares, right? Chris should always be at the top of the list, right?
I mean, I agree.
Okay, so how do you make a tech appointment? So it's very simple. On the website, we have a section called Services. And under Services, one of the drop-down choices is Get Tech Help. When you click on that, it goes to a calendar, and you can see when Chris has open appointments for people to come in and receive technical help. Could be with their phones or tablets or computers, or sometimes they ask computer questions even if they don't have those devices with them.
I would say, even though that's on our list as number 3, it could be also a number 1 spot for frequently asked questions.
Sure, I guess we didn't actually specify that these are not necessarily in the top 10 order of how they're asked. They're just the top 10 things that we think come up all the time in some order, in one way or another.
Correct. How about checkout times? What's our policy for new material?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. And how about for stuff that's been on the shelf a little longer?
Yeah, regular material is 3 weeks.
Now let's go over the hours of operation for the library.
Yes. So on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, the library is open from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. On Fridays, the library is open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m.
That means we're closed on Sundays and Mondays. Let's move on to the bookstore information. We have a couple of different locations.
Yes. So this can get a little bit confusing because, as you said, there are multiple locations. Let's start with the one that's always accessible, which is the front room. It's the room with the clock.
That's right. And sometimes Eliza will create a nice little collection if it's, like Black History Month or...
Yeah, we have things for like Mother's Day. It could be about like families. We had for while the Holocaust exhibit was here, we had a lot of World War II material. And of course, for the Christmas season, there'll be a lot of holiday material.
I love when she does her little displays. It really makes a difference for that space.
The next location where we sell books at the library is at the Friends Bookstore in the basement. And I know you have the hours for that ready.
I do. Wednesdays, the bookstore in the basement is open from 10 to 6 p.m. Thursdays, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Fridays, 10 a.m. to 4, and Saturdays, 9 to 1:30.
Right. So it's a little bit less than the regular hours of the library, and not open at all on Tuesdays for the bookstore in the basement.
Yes, that's something everybody should remember because I don't know why, I think they just associate us being open, that we carry the same hours, or the bookstore carries the same hours as us.
Correct.
So Tuesdays, they are closed.
Also, if the library is closed or the bookstore is closed, there's actually another option where people can still get some library materials.
We have 2 little free libraries here at the library. One is located at the front of the building towards the end of like the little walkway opposite the Veterans Memorial. And then the second one is located out back just opposite the book drop. And then there's a third one located down the street up near Waukee Beach.
Yes.
By the clubhouse.
Correct.
Yep. So that's where you can get your material if we are closed.
And so the way a little free library works is there are just maybe 20 or 30 books in there. I'm trying to picture how many would fit. I guess it depends whether they are paperbacks or big Stephen King hardcovers. But in any case, let's call it 20 to 30. And people can just go and take a book out of there or even donate a book into it. There's always something available just in case you happen to come and the library is not open.
Yeah, like a take one, leave one policy.
Yes.
Kind of sweet.
Yeah, very cool. All right, let's see. What's next on our question list?
Did we talk about where you can find like an old yearbook?
We did not, so good segue. Talking about the rooms in the front of the library where the fireplaces are, one of the rooms has historical documents in that room, and included in that would be all the yearbooks from Meredith, the Interlakes High School, and also old town reports, for example, and lots of other old books that some of them do not circulate. It's reference material. Remember that good old reference thing? Remember in old libraries, there used to always be a reference section?
Yeah.
And the stuff didn't come out. We actually have a few things on the second floor, very little now, like a giant atlas. And it used to be those giant like encyclopedia sets and stuff like that they would not circulate before the days of the internet.
Right. But that's kind of sweet still to just come and sit quietly in the historic room upstairs or in the two front historic rooms downstairs just to sort of sit and enjoy the older material in the oldest part of the library. What's next? Do you want to talk about how you could become a patron?
People who are residents of Meredith or people who have a business in town or own property, because they may rent it out to other people, but they may be the property owners. They or anyone who works for the town or the school department, even students at the school or employees are all eligible for resident cards. There is no charge for the card, and all they have to do is come to the circulation desk and fill out the little application, and that is all they need to do, and they will be issued their library cards. And even non-residents, and we do have people who come from many different surrounding towns, they are also eligible to get a library card here in Meredith, and that does have a cost, which is $20 per year. The only difference between the two cards is that non-resident cards do not have access to the electronic services of Libby and Hoopla.
For more information, stop by the circulation desk.
Absolutely. We have brochures with all this information, and of course, a librarian at the desk will be glad to explain it all to you.
We should talk about all things ILL, interlibrary loans.
Yes. So people can even search an old episode of, check it out, because people just love to go through our archives, our audio archives.
I mean, I'm not going to lie, I did.
I know you did. And look, and you ended up being the co-host of the show. So
I would have never guessed.
It all paid off. So we did an old episode about a little over a year ago, where we interviewed Sherry, who is the interlibrary loan librarian. And she told us all the details of how that works. But for our purposes today, people should just know that if they come to the library and they're looking for a book, or even if they call us and we are not able to find it on our shelves, there is another option. People can borrow the book through us, but they're getting it from other libraries throughout the state. So there's over 200 libraries, and there's a whole system in the background that goes on with a van that drives around, on multiple vans actually throughout the state, that go to libraries sometimes as much as 2 and 3 times a week, and all physical material is exchanged that way.
We should talk about what happens if you return a book late, which is nothing. There's no fine.
Okay, now I need to find the dun-dun-dun.
Dun-dun-dun-dun.
Yes.
And the only time you really have to pay anything for lost material is if it's indeed lost, but also damaged to a point where we can't repair it.
Correct. And that is a case-by-case basis. So, if you were reading a book and literally a drop of water got on a page, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about if you were reading the book and you spilled your entire full cup of tea onto the book.
I've actually seen that. And I've also seen books that maybe been brought to the beach.
Yes, I was just going to say that.
It's hard to resist doing that, but if it's beyond repair, then that's part of the policy.
And actually, patrons have confessed that. People have told me that they dropped the book in the lake.
Mm-hmm.
So they were doing lakeside reading, which we encourage.
I mean, I do it.
I mean, if you saw the cover of the summer reading brochure, Bigfoot was doing it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yep. We're not setting a very good example, are we?
Well, if you take your examples from cryptids, take your chances.
But we are in the lakes region too, so,
I guess it wouldn't be a complete summer if one book didn't land in the lake.
Right. Or if you saw Bigfoot reading a book.
Just another day on the shores of Lake Winnipesaukee.
It's New Hampshire.
All right, what's next? What exciting frequently asked question are we going to tackle next?
How do you become a member of the Friends group?
Oh, that's a good one. So there is an application at the circulation desk, and the people just fill that out, pay their money, which they can pay by check, cash, or credit card, and they will be a member of the Friends group, and they will be encouraged to share what they would like to do for the group. So it is not a necessity, by the way. You can just pay the money and support the library that way. Or you can be an active member of the group that actually volunteers in different things, such as working in the bookstore in the basement, as we talked about earlier, or even working at the book sales, which we hadn't mentioned yet. Those are the 3-time-a-year book sales, or special events that we have. And people will come and work a table in the event, or a lot of people like to provide baked goods for some of the events that we hold. So that's always fun. So there are lots of different things that people can do. They have different committees or subcommittees and stuff. So there are a lot of options.
Are they also responsible for the gardens?
Yes. Oh, good point. Yes. Outside, they do an amazing job. I mean, people always compliment the landscaping at this library.
Yeah, it's the first thing I see if I'm walking by or driving by. It's hard not to look. The gardens are so impressive that they just command that sort of attention. They do, like, even now they're probably getting ready to cut it back, but there's so much work and care that goes into that.
Absolutely.
They really do a nice job. Sometimes, not all the time, but we get questions about donations. How do you donate if you want to donate something sizable or any donation really?
You mean money or books?
Ooh.
Or both.
How about both?
All right, let's talk about both.
What if somebody wanted to donate a large collection, if they were cleaning out somebody's personal collection?
Yes, which that does happen, unfortunately, after deaths or even big moves, perhaps, to another state, to Florida, the most common one here, I would say. If it is a large collection like we're talking about, and we're talking about hundreds of books or, 1,000 books, so they would need to coordinate with Eliza from the bookstore. And there's a huge article and previous episode of this show that we did interviewing her, where she talks about this in great detail. But in any case, people could come into the library and ask for Eliza. She's here like 40 hours a week, like a full-time employee, even though she's a volunteer. Or they could always call and make sure she's here first. Obviously, we don't want to send people for nothing. And if she isn't, we can give you her contact information, her email, and you can coordinate with her to see if we are able to receive a large amount of books at a certain time. So that's for like estate size things we're talking about. Just normal book donations, you have a bag or two, it's been collecting on your mantle or on your bookshelf at home, and you want to drop them off the library. Those can just be brought to the circulation desk.
And if there's more than one box, people can just park out back, come in and grab a cart if necessary, but they definitely have to check in with the circ desk first.
Yes, and we always say if you need help with it, say you have a lot of boxes, like you're saying, you're not able to physically carry them or move them from the car yourself, we do encourage people to call to make sure we're properly staffed, to have people available to go out and help you. So otherwise, you could be here waiting. If there aren't enough staff members, you could be stuck here waiting for someone to become available. So we just try to make it convenient for everybody.
That's right. Okay, so that covers book donations. How would somebody make a monetary donation?
Yes, there are other ways to donate to the library monetarily. People can do cash, checks, or credit card even. We accept all those. So during the book sales, for example, people can just donate whatever amount they feel is appropriate for the books and DVDs they are purchasing. So that's one way. Of course, anytime someone can just come into the library and make a donation. And then we also have what we might call swag a little bit, or library branded items. People can purchase those, which of course are also donations to the library. On the lower end, we have those cute little puppies at the desk now that they're little stuffed animals, and they have a sweater on them that says "I love reading." So those are popular. Perfect stocking stuffers, by the way. I'll put that out there for the upcoming season.
Good plug.
Yeah. And there are other things as well. People may remember we had a beautiful painting of the library by Dr. Mark Bard last year. We had a whole fundraising effort with that. And we still have those available for $20. Then we have prints of the library, which are matted prints, and those are available for $60. Those are also out on display with the little puppies I mentioned. And what else do we have down there? Oh, we just recently put a new display of the vintage products available. We have those DVDs with the movies from Archie creator Bob Montana. It was The Close Shave and Meredith, the First 200 Years, which we had featured back on Old Home Day showing, and people did buy them that day. They wanted to take home their own version, so that was cool. And also some books. We have the Filling the Void by our local historian, Rudy Van Ven, and he wrote this book in 1989. Can you imagine? And it was a history of the Meredith Library up to that point. That is also available down there for sale. So you can donate some money, but then get souvenirs too.
That's wonderful. And where did all the donations wind up? Straight back into programming or professional development?
Good question. So if you just kind of come in generally and donate, money can go to the Friends, which, and as you said, they are supporting all the programming. However, you do have other options. So you could always talk to Erin, our director, and you can earmark the money for something that you wanted specifically. Like when we were doing the stuff for the teen room upgrade, as you know, people were donating money specifically to that cause because they wanted to participate in that directly. So that's always an option. Erin is glad to sit down with anyone who wants to donate money and make sure that they feel comfortable with where their money will be used specifically.
Yeah, and that was a much appreciated project in the teen room. We're enjoying it. We're holding all of our programs in that room specifically, and the improvement is containing the overflow of noise
we might
produced by the teens.
The irrational exuberance of teenagers.
Nice. I love that. And that wraps up our frequently asked questions.
All right. Well, I think they're good ones that will really help people navigate their way through the Meredith Public Library.
I hope so.
All right, MaryBeth, was great talking to you, as always.
You as well.
All right, well, we will thank everyone for joining us today. Look forward to joining you and everyone in our next exciting episode. Bye, MaryBeth.
Goodbye, Matthew.
Bye, everyone. Podcast music titled Daytime TV Theme by Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com. Licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 4.0.
Podcast copyright 2025, Meredith Library Podcast Studio.